Hope you all enjoyed your lunch. We're going to kick off into the first breakout session. So my name is Sarah and I work for the Astron Life business. And this afternoon I have the pleasure of introducing our guest speaker, Professor Michael Roseman. So this session you're in is building business in rapidly changing times. And Professor Roseman is from the Queensland University of Technology and he's leading this session for us today. So I saw this in Brisbane last week. It's quite interactive, so you're in for a good session. So Michael is a professor for Information Systems and the Executive Director, Corporate Engagement at QUT. He's also the Honorary Counsel for Germany in South East Queensland. Michael is a disruptive thinker with a passion for revenue resilience, digital mindfulness and innovative industry-academia relationships. His work is focused on creating exciting future worlds, making current practices obsolete. So all of this is really relevant in all of our industries in financial services today. So please join me in welcoming Michael to the stage.
Thank you. Thank you, Saray. Good afternoon, everyone. So we spend the next hour together. Let's make this a better hour in your life. I want to talk about the kind of opportunity-rich future. So the panel, we just talked a lot about where we are, where we came from, and where we might head. The past, I think, was problem-rich. The future is opportunity-rich. Our problem is we understand the past much better than we understand the future. And it's really, really hard for us. So if you look at a device like this, I keep devices like this because in 3 years, you look at this and said, I survived on this device? I had to charge it every 24 hours? People would pay $1,000 and more? They would lose this and there would be data that they lost with the device? The glass would break? You didn't have Wi-Fi access? Some people would spend $25 at a hotel to get Wi-Fi access? And you would download things? You would go to a web page? You would log in using a password. People had BSB and an account number, and you had to remember them to transfer money, and that's how you lived. So it's very hard to comprehend how the world looks like tomorrow. But in an opportunity-rich environment, we have to understand where the world is heading. So we work with a local water company in Brisbane, and we just created a job that we call the Chief Opportunity Officer. If you Google right now, Chief Opportunity Officer, the first thing you will see is Queensland Urban Utility, Brisbane-based sewage company, not Apple, Amazon, or Google. What they said is, we've got a lot of risk managers. We're very good on working out what could be broken. We have nobody who can spot what's possible. And so the Chief Opportunity Officer is out there to work out what can be done as opposed to what's broken. Many companies talk about pain points. I think in the panel they said 5 times pain points. Nobody said opportunity point. And so it's a sort of counterbalance. How do we go from what's broken to an equal focus on what's possible? That's where I want to have a bit of a conversation. Now, in order to do this, we need to work out what's our ambition. Ultimately, it comes down to what's our ambition. Question for you. Let's say this car's maybe 100 years old. How long do you think it took us, or our colleagues 100 years ago, to paint that car? 3 weeks? A few days? What was it? 6 months. The question was, how long do you need to paint that car? Yeah, 6 months. Just paint it, so make it blue. Yeah, when Henry talked about a week, yeah? So it took, sorry? 1 day. So it took 37 days. So painting a car was the bottleneck to the mass-produced car. So Henry Ford said, all cars are black. That was great. Yeah? Customers are perfect if they have no opinion. There are PhDs written about annoying customers, how you get rid of customers. But customers want choice. So one choice is color, and 100 years ago, it took them 37 days. Now, Charles Kettering said, as being in charge for this is really not something I can tolerate. So he brought his engineers together, and like we today, they talk pain points. What's the process, what's broken? And he asked them over lunch, guys, what's possible? And they said, 30 days, Charles. We can fix this, we can overcome this, bit of rework, 30 days. And what Charles wanted to hear is, like the lady said, 1 day. I said, there's no way, you're kidding. And then Charles went to the streets of New York, found this little shop, saw some liquor, combined this with some work from DuPont, and created spray-painted color. Invited all the engineers again, asked them, hey guys, you remember our conversation about painting the car? How long does this take? I said, sorry, Charles, still 30 days. He said, no, nothing I can do, paid for lunch, they went to their cars, but they couldn't find their cars again. And I went to that car and said, I thought my car is blue, but this car is red. So they painted the cars while they had lunch. And the question for you is, are you in the business of 30 days or 1 day? Most companies are in the business of 30 days. You get to 30 days if you fix pain. If you go and conduct pain relief, 37 days become 30 days. It won't take you to 1 day. And so for 1 day, we need a different mindset. We need to work out where do I want to be and how do I get there, as opposed to how to overcome where I am. So, in order to visualize this, very simple picture, you know what a hygiene factor is. Hygiene factors is you give this to the customer, but they might say, finally, not thank you. So let's say in a short while, a lot of things will be more or less automated, and the customer expects certain features. They won't say, thank you. So if we at QET would stream our lectures live, if you could get up at 6 p.m. and not at 6 a.m. and just sit on your device and can see Michael doing his lecture, my students would probably say, finally, not thank you. You know the Australian ID that we've got for the government, Centrelink, Child Support Agency, ATO, Ausgov. And I went down to Centrelink and said, Michael, here after a few $1 million in a few years, we give Australia a single ID. Isn't this magic? And I said, that's a big step for Centrelink, a small step for mankind. And that's a challenge. Many of our activities are big steps for us, they're small steps for mankind. So the red line is when we're busy being busy, but busyness doesn't keep us in business. Busyness does not keep us in business. So for this, we need to think differently and say, what can we do that delights the customer? So example, my water company again. They could say we can do Internet of Things and spot water leakages. We can see water leakage before you can see it. But it's red line business. What we did is we said, but hey, you also get a daily sample from a customer. If you would be a health provider, you would be dreaming. We created a spin-off company around the diagnostic toilet. 3 people, we know before a customer knows that there's kidney failure, pregnancy, or just another hangover in the family. And for this, you might charge a few dollars in your water bill. That's Blue Line. You don't create the diagnostic toilet by fixing problems. But the issue is we're very good on the red line. We're not good on the blue line. Kodak, the day they died, were there. Streamlined factory, everything was automated, straight through processing. It's just customers did not want your product anymore. Disruptors, panelists talked about it, they don't care about your cost base, they eat your revenue base. They have got your revenue for breakfast. That is disruption. Disruption eats your revenue, not your cost base. So you have to find a way to protect revenue or to grow revenue. And that's what the disruptive age wants from us, while at the same time becoming cost effective. The big companies that are now facing bankruptcy are typically on the top right corner in that red line. They're very, very cost effective. They just don't provide a relevant service. So below the line is what we call automation, problem fixing, lean, Six Sigma, pain points. Above the line, it's the age of digitization, creating something entirely new. And what we need to do as brokers who are close to customers, work out what is it what we can create. Sometimes it helps to listen to the customer, to understand customer journeys, take part in their life. My diagnostic toilet, now customers said, I wish I could have a diagnostic toilet. But once they said, what do you think about it, they loved it. Bring it closer to your business. Let's say, in the old days, if I invited these 3 individuals here, these guests, for dinner, and I said, I get $40 from you each, you would put $40 on the table. I get that money and done. How does it work today? Well, because nobody carries cash these days, I get your email address, I send you my BSB account number, you go to your webpage, you log in, enter my BSB account number, transfer some money, my account can't tweet, so I have to check if it has arrived or not, chase you again. And that's the beauty of digital as opposed to the old day. Why can't money be geo-fenced? Why can't I just say table 1, 2, 3? You could put money on the digital table I collected. Not a single bank in the world can do this, by the way. I just replicate what we've done 40 years ago. Geo-fenced money. I could give $200 to my son and say, here's $200, but I excluded all bottle shops. That's geo-fenced money. Very simple idea. Now customer says, I want geo-fenced money, but once it exists, I could create value propositions for my customer. That's blue line thinking. This is where your chief opportunity officer operates. So, on the left side, that's our mindset. Give me today, give me my pain point, give me something I can fix. I can see problems, but I can't see opportunities. And so for opportunities, I have to think differently. One way of thinking is about when people said, think outside the box. You don't have to think outside the box, you need a bigger box. If you've got a very, very big box, you don't need palm trees and outside the box thinking. Simple example, how do you create the idea of Airbnb and Uber? Idle assets. Kids have moved out, room is empty. I drive in my car, child seat or seat next to me is empty. I commercialize idle assets. Amazon Web Services, computer space available. Diagnostic toilet, I get a daily sample, underutilized. In Sweden, we put a gym on a train. You might be 60 minutes on a train, what else could you do? And Walmart sells car parks at nighttime in the United States. Big box, what can I do with idle assets? My customer is using their car 3% of the time, what could I do with the other 97%? How could I help them? And why does a company like Suncorp and its ecosystem not create an idea like Uber? You already have 5 million people with a car insurance. They all have got idle capacity. So you have fertile playground to capitalize on idle assets. Big box, idle assets, you create these ideas within 2 minutes without thinking under a palm tree. So we have to move to the right, and that sometimes means we have to understand new assumptions. Are we in the water business or in the health business? Do I sell you car insurance, or do I broker the idle capacity? Maybe you've got idle capacity, and you're a student, and you want to become an Uber driver. Can I put the Uber driver into my car? And who's doing this brokerage in between? And who do you pay? The Uber driver? The car owner? Why can't I pay the car? I call this B2T, business to think. And probably in a couple of years, the car and the home will have an account. And I delegated driving to my car, I probably would say, I could not care less who's my car insurer. Car, go, and talk to some people that you trust. So in that sort of environment, we need to be close not just to people, but also to their things, because things will develop autonomy. And that sort of ability to become the best friend, not just of humans, but also of their things, is something we'll see very, very soon. So this is a sort of new world that we are hitting. Now, what we need to work out is how much are we exposed to revenue threats, revenue resilience. So what you see is like a cycle where we try to profile what could happen to your business. So in some industries, customers become our competitor. When I lecture in my own university at, let's say, 9 in the morning, at roughly 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you can go to spoonfeed.me.com.au, and one of my students will create a 20-minute, 30-minute video without German accent, much slower speech, and for $2.49, you get Michael's summary. You can either go to my student or can go to me. I compete with my own students every single day. So this has happened in the hotel industry, in the taxi industry, in the energy industry, when you compete with your customers. So all of a sudden, it's not just we competing with other competitors, we compete with our customers. And those customers sometimes trust other customers much more than they trust us. So these are models that we call revenue resilience, and we need to work out which of these are a threat to our revenue base. So we have to find a way to protect revenue and then grow further revenue, as I indicated. So why would we do this? For 3 reasons. We either have to, and that's often we are too late. Burning platform, market shares disappearing. The second one is because we can. I can play with geo-fenced money to see what's possible. This is what technologies allow me to do. The third one is I want to. In what business am I in? What sort of business do I want? I'm a university. Do I give you a degree or do I do lifelong learning? Could I create an upgradable degree? Could I give you an MBA and in 2 years, you busy being busy, we launch MBA 2.2? Could I sell you the upgrade like I sell software upgrades to you? Could I launch MBA 2.2? Would Suncorp or whoever pay for your upgrade? You would never expire. So this is blue line thinking when I create new revenue models. Could I do the same to a banking or insurance product? Could it be version managed? Could I upgrade you? Why do we have annual cycles anyway? Because some sales guy 50 years ago only saw you once a year? Try to explain to a 12-year-old why you renew your insurance on an annual basis. They will not be able to comprehend that. So software doesn't work like this. Software or degrees in the future are just upgraded when I've got a new product and you subscribe to a better product. So why won't we have subscription models like this as opposed to calendar year models? So all this leads to the big question. If you're a turkey, you wake up every day looks like a great day until you hit Thanksgiving. And all of a sudden that day looks very different. So what we say is you want to be the butcher and not the turkey. But for this you have to be proactive. For this you have to be in the driver's seat. And so in that world that is changing, we need to understand where the world is heading. And it used to be all about companies and corporations and their business processes and streamlining them. And people were just passive participants in their life. The new world is called the economy of people. When I rock up to an insurance company, I will bring my own assets. I bring my own data. I let my doctor take part in my physical well-being. I give you access to my assets. We won't have customer relationship management. We will have vendor relationship management. My bank, my insurer, my retailer, my broker, I, as a customer, for the first time, will be empowered. And this is what the digital world is doing to our customers. Automation empowered companies. Digitalization powers people. And that means instead of optimizing my operating model, we have to understand business models. As I highlighted, the subscription model for insurance products, for example, is a business model idea. It's not an operating model idea. And instead of analyzing what is broken, we have to be able to design. I can buy analysts on the street. I can't buy designers on the street. To visualize it differently, you remember this picture? Quite out. When the internet emerged, we had no clue who you are. Well, then we did social analytics. We know more about you than you do yourself. And this is when companies analyze every single microbit out of your life and know more than you know. And then they can guide you. You should buy this product, watch this movie, eat less, drink less. If I'm your bank account, I would know a lot about you. I could look after you. Have you seen the money profile? If you believe you spend too much, but your behavior is different, why not at 10 o'clock saying, Michael, do you really want to buy this beer? You remember Gmail 5 years ago? After 10 p.m., they asked you 2 additional questions, just to avoid that the girl that you just met gets an inappropriate email from you because you're totally drunk. Could I do the same with money? Could money look after you? Could money care? So that's the sort of world where now, what about you? Where we're heading is, as I highlighted, you're not a dog anymore. That's my house in Brisbane, when I'm next time in Europe, said, hey, Suncorp, Michael is right now in Europe. I'm about to be flooded. Can you send me at least a bunch of students who carry all the assets upstairs? Because it will be cheaper for you than waiting for my claim. Quite realistic conversation in 24 months. That is the world of B2T, not B2B or B2C. So what does ultimately for you means, and this is where you're so well positioned, you're closer to the customer than anybody else. So in this new world, it's all about taking part in the life of people. And with the marketplace, it's all about what else can I offer that probably down the track goes beyond the immediate, predictable finance and insurance product. And I guess the marketplace will also down the track open up the gate for items that are somewhat complementing financial and banking products. But for this, I need an orchestrator. We don't compete on production anymore. Not in healthcare, not in higher education, not in banking, and not in insurance. We compete on mass personalization. And for this, we need good orchestrators. And that orchestration is hard to automate. Production and product features are easy to replicate. My lecturers, if all they can do is read a book and articulate that content to our students, they're gone. If all I can do is describe product features, it will be hard to compete in the world. Orchestration, personalization, is something that cannot be automated. So, how do we have to think like this? We have to work out, what does the customer want? I'll show you a little video. Anyone recognizes this face? Clayton Christensen, so the inventor of disruptive innovation, and he will talk about milkshakes. And then when he's finished, let's talk about what does a milkshake and a banking or insurance product have in common.
Hi, my name's Clay Christensen. I'm a professor at the Harvard Business School. I brought with me a set of puzzles, all related to innovation. We decided that the way we teach marketing is at the core of what makes motivation difficult to achieve. The most helpful way we've thought of it so far is that we actually hire products to do things for us. And understanding what job we have to do in our lives for which we would hire a product is really the key to cracking this problem of motivating customers to buy what we're offering. So I wanted just to tell you a story about a project we did for one of the big fast food restaurants. They were trying to goose up the sales of their milkshakes. They had just studied this problem up the gazoo. They brought in customers who fit the profile of the quintessential milkshake consumer, and they'd give them samples and ask, could you tell us how we can improve our milkshakes so you'd buy more of them? Do you want it chocolatey or cheaper, chunkier, chewier? They get very clear feedback. They would then improve the milkshake on those dimensions, and it had no impact on sales or profits whatsoever. So one of our colleagues went in with a different question on his mind, and that was, I wonder what job arises in people's lives that cause them to come to this restaurant to hire a milkshake. So we stood in a restaurant for 18 hours one day and just took very careful data. What time did they buy these milkshakes? What were they wearing? Were they alone? Did they buy other food with it? Did they eat it in the restaurant or drive off with it? It turned out that nearly half of the milkshakes were sold before 8 o'clock in the morning. The people who bought them were always alone. It was the only thing they bought, and they all got in the car and drove off with it. So to figure out what job they were trying to hire it to do, we came back the next day and stood outside the restaurant so we could confront these folks as they left, milkshake in hand. And in language that they could understand, we essentially asked, excuse me please, but I got to sort this puzzle out. What job were you trying to do for yourself that caused you to come here and hire that milkshake? And they'd struggle to answer, so we'd then help them by asking other questions like, well, think about the last time you were in the same situation, needing to get the same job done, but you didn't come here to hire a milkshake. What did you hire? And then as we put all of their answers together, it became clear that they all had the same job to do in the morning, and that is they had a long and boring drive to work. And they just needed something to do while they drove to keep the commute interesting. One hand had to be on the wheel, but somebody had given them another hand and there wasn't anything in it. And they just needed something to do while they drove. They weren't hungry yet, but they knew they'd be hungry by 10 o'clock, so they also wanted something that would just go down there and stay for their morning. Good question. What do I hire when I do this job? You know, I've never framed the question that way before, but last Friday I hired a banana to do the job. Take my word for it, never hire bananas. They're gone in 3 minutes, you're hungry by 7:30. If you promise not to tell my wife, I'd probably hire donuts twice a week, but they don't do it well either. They're gone fast, they crumb all over my clothes, they get my fingers gooey. Sometimes I hire bagels, but as you know, they're so dry and tasteless. Then I have to steer the car with my knees while I'm putting jam on them, and then if the phone rings, we got a crisis. I remember I hired a Snickers bar once, but I felt so guilty I've never hired Snickers again. Let me tell you, when I come here and hire this milkshake, it is so viscous that it easily takes me 20 minutes to suck it up that thin little straw. Who cares what the ingredients are? I don't. All I know is I'm full all morning and it fits right here in my cup holder. Well, it turns out that the milkshake does the job better than any of the competitors, which in the customers' minds are not Burger King milkshakes, but it's bananas, donuts, bagels, Snickers bars, coffee, and so on. But I hope you can see how, if you understand the job, how to improve the product becomes just obvious.
So it has become obvious, but all of a sudden you think about your product in a very different way. You don't compete with other banking insurance products. If you would ask your customers, what's the job to be done? What sort of answers would you get? What do you think? What was it? A better lifestyle? Yeah? So who would you compete with? And he just talked about competing with bananas and Snickers. So what's your banana and what is your Snickers? Like what are products? Holidays. When you ask Netflix, what's your biggest competitor? What do they say? Anyone else?
Stan and Foxtel.
Yes, but what else do they say? Sleep. In public, Netflix said our biggest competition is sleep. And so jobs to be done. It's not about me, my product features, and the features of 5 other products. This is not a product conversation. Customers don't care about product features. They care about the job to be done. They say, I'm hungry, not I want a milkshake. That's a second thought. So what Clayton Christensen is doing, this gets one step closer to the consumer. So you have to overcome this sort of product mindset. That's very important. In the world of companies were king, and companies opened their doors, and then you would come to my store, to my supermarket, to my university. In the digital world, I expect that you come to me. And you're already halfway there. You just have to go one step further, one step closer to them. But the question needs to be around jobs to be done, not these are the features of my product. That's the second conversation. Jobs to be done. We work closely with Suncorp. I see them every day. And we try to work out what are the jobs to be done? What are the jobs I could be doing? If I give the world geofenced money, what are the jobs I could do? Maybe the government can only launch money in kind of poor or low-income areas. And the money would only be valid there. Many of the money could be only spent on Mondays or Fridays, or not after 10 p.m. So jobs could be done, could be derived from there. You all recognize this, yeah, the Maslow pyramid of needs? So we do here, we try to work out what are the jobs to be done in those 5 layers. On the lowest layer, the job could be, I don't want to see my money. I don't want to see my insurance. See, the big idea that Uber had was money or payment became an attribute of a person. When you hop in an Uber, the second question they ask you as part of the onboarding process, how do you want to pay? Give me your credit card. And I'll never ask you again. All other payment is part of the transaction. I go to Woolies and Coles at the very end, and how do you want to pay? So payment at Coles and Woolworths is an attribute of the transaction. At Uber, it's an attribute of a person. In the economy of people, banks and insurance companies will become an attribute of a person. At the moment, the person is an attribute of a bank. In the future, they won't look after their BSB and an account number. Uber shows how we become an attribute of a person. Once you told me how I want to pay, I never ask you again. I bet $100 in 3 years, Coles and Woolworths will not ask you how do you want to pay. They will not ask you how you want to pay because you told them 6 months before, once and forever, and that's your default. And it might change on a time-based way. So on the basic level, money might disappear. It's just invisible. It still happens, it's just the act of payment won't occur. Then if I go high up the food chain, it could be money that looks after me, money that cares for me, money that's slightly opinionated, as I highlighted earlier on, money that I could express certain intentions, money that might say, hey, Michael, I can see $400 surplus. Do you want me to invest it on your behalf? This is proactive money. It could be money that is social. Why can money only be transferred from the sender to the receiver? Why can't the receiver, my son, not grab $200 from my account if I give you carte blanche for a certain threshold? And then I go high up that food chain. It's about self-actualization. This is not about I help you with your mortgage. This is about shaping your dreams. Again, we want to be one step closer. We want to be one step closer. We want to own the interface and the very first conversation. So what we realized is, if you take the same triangle, the higher you go up, the more it's about experience design. And why we have this in software industries and gamification, we really have not experienced this in banking and insurance. In a world that gets more and more automated, it gets harder and harder to make core business on the bottom layer. Convenience can be automated, experience can't. So in the future, we need to become experience designers. And certain experience, of course, require well-being, safety, insurance, and banking products. So this is what automation will do. Convenience becomes automated, experience and hyper-personalization kicks in. Every Coles or Woolworths manager works like this. We can pre-populate your shopping list, convenience. We still want a hyper-personalized experience and talk you into big sushi dinner or whatever sort of experiences. Experience design will be the same in your industry. How does this look like and how do certain companies work on this? I'll show you one example for how we pay for a Big Mac in California these days.
Sorry.
Nope, didn't work. Wait for mommy, hang on.
73, 4.
Hit cancel. Here's your change. Sorry. I like to pay with Google. Okay, Melanie, we're all set. Thank you. What do you say? Thank you. Bye.
So how did she pay? Dangerously. What was that? Voice, yeah? Not face, but voice, yeah? She could say, I want to pay with Google, Abracadabra, I love Suncorp, whatever you want to say. And so McDonald's said to the mobile phone, I need $10. You just have to release the $10. So at Starbucks in the United States, it's pre-populated. I know you know me. You walk up, you said, I want a flat white. You walk up, I can sense you want a flat white. And now you want to pay. There's no more conversation. At McDonald's, I don't know you. I've never seen you before. So the McDonald's app talks to your phone, and your phone only releases payment when you say, I love Suncorp, and then I get my $10. Job to be done, I don't have two hands to do the sort of payment that you want me to do. And so this is what I mean on that sort of basic need, the data transaction. We'll see all kind of innovation. This video is, I think, 3 years old, by the way. So we see all kind of innovation. And the scary part is, we don't know what we don't know. We go to bed with a smile, but we shouldn't. And it's all about how do I build up that sort of awareness of what's possible. Now, for this, I have to think differently. And I just taken the remaining minutes on other puzzle pieces of a bigger box. Not outside the box, but bigger box. The first one is what I call digital attention. So what's wrong in this picture? Or with other words, what's the biggest disruption for her? Mobile phone? Not the coffee? If you ask, like 1 in 4 accidents is caused by mobile distraction. Massive payout, not very good for your KPIs. If you asked her, we did focus group with 16, 17, and 18-year-olds, and we asked them, why are you so damn distracted? What's the biggest problem? What do they all say? The phone, no. Boyfriend, no. Driving, yeah? They all say driving. Since 4 or 5 years, I live a digital life. I can use every single minute of my life. When I'm 16 and 17, I need to pick up driving. I'm in a traffic jam. And that physical world consumes all my attention. And I can't watch a movie, communicate, talk, flirt, or learn. So the physical and the digital world coexist. It's just for a younger generation, the digital world is more important than the physical world. So when you see that sort of, sometimes you go for dinner and you see a couple and then she or he's on the phone, they're not distracted. It's just the digital world is much more interesting, yeah? And the same here in your car. The same in your car. So what we have to understand is the job to be done is just get rid of driving. There are studies in the show when they ask people, how much would you pay per hour for a driverless car? The younger they are, the more they will pay. The younger they are, the more they will pay, even if they can't afford it, just to get rid of driving. The biggest disruption for 16 and 18-year-olds is driver license, not the mobile phone. We call the share of digital attention. Why does Google build a driverless car? 1.2 billion cars in the world. If every car drives an hour and you don't drive anymore, you give the world more than 100,000 years of living. More than 100,000 years of living. If I put a big screen in front of you, that's 100,000 years of digital attention I just captured. That's Google's motivation. They couldn't care less about your driving and your accidents. They convert driving time into attention time. So digital attention is a new KPI. How much time do you spend with me? And I'll show you a little video. Guatemala, so forget about health and safety issues for a moment.
Yeah, I'm in the Nike store. There he is. He's getting the message. There's a promotion for BPAC. I think so. Yeah, we got him.
Meatpack is the trendiest shoe store in Guatemala, a brand known for its edgy, cutting style and a store known for its unique discounts in limited edition kicks including brands like Adidas, Nike and Reebok. An icon for the sneakerhead subculture with over 60,000 fans on their fan page in less than a year. They needed to launch a new promotion that lived up to their hardcore fans, an innovative way to earn your discount. We created Hijack, an enhancement for the official Meatpack app used by our customers, using GPS tracking technology that marks every competitor's store of the brand sold at Meatpack. So every time one of our sneakerheads enters one of the stores, it triggers a special notice with a promotion. Hijack sends an alert to the person's mobile with a discount that starts at 99% and decreases by 1% every second that goes by, making the countdown stop until you reach our store. More than 600 customers were hijacked from the competitors in a week. One customer, Pedro Rodriguez, got a record-breaking 89% discount. This is the first promo campaign that started the sale in the competitors' stores.
So this was Guatemala a few years ago. Now in Toowoomba, in high-tech Queensland, they built a shopping center replicating exactly this. So this is what I call share of digital attention. I've got you in my shoe shop. I've got your physical attention. I don't have your digital attention. In a world when annual renewal cycles disappear, I need a sort of ongoing attention. It could be digital, it could be physical, but I need to be in your life much more frequently to sense what's possible, to sell upgradable products. So that's what I mean. That's the sort of second item around digital attention. What else? Digital signals. Of course, since years, you spend enough money on your car, and your car hits a tree, your car will notify hospitals. And then hospitals will try to talk to you. If you can't talk, they know what's up, and then emergency services kick in. The car, of course, will lodge your initial conversation with the insurance company or with you as a broker. So that's what I mean. You pick up digital signals. And so in this new world, we create more and more digital noise, and this will be data that is available to you. So you get more and more data insights. People create big private data. They will rock up with their big private data and will ask you, what's the best product for me? So you get customers who are on a high level of digital literacy, who are data rich, and they need advice from you. We just need to be mindful that our customers are not having a higher level of digital literacy than we. I was recently traveling to South America. My flight got canceled. I needed to be in Rio. And the lady was hammering around on a mainframe. And while she did it, I just grabbed my phone, went to Expedia and said, 10 o'clock, British Airways, $400. She looks at me and says, thank you. Here's the customer, there's the provider. And so we need to be mindful that our customers don't become more digital savvy than we are, but they will become data rich. The third one, as I highlighted, they bring their own data. If I would be a bank, I would create a private data bank. I already can store my money at a bank. Why can't I store all my other data? Why can't I say to my Nike shoes, send my data to my bank account? Why can't I say to my Fitbit, send all my data to a bank account? Why can't a bank become a dumping ground for my private data? And then I use them whenever I need. So we see this explosion of big private data, and then I will pick carefully the ones that I trust and selectively take part in my life. So you as brokers need to make sure that the citizen, the customers trust you, and that ultimately means that they trust you with the data that they produce, and that in return, they get constant product renewals where required, but maybe in a different business model. And maybe it's a subscription package and not a product price. And then finally, when I was in Poland at mBank, mobile bank, they said, we don't have any financial advisors. Because people don't rock up and say to the guy in a suit, how should I spend my 10,000 euro? Because they don't trust us. But they trust other customers. I said, I've got 10,000 euro, can you please invest them like your most successful customer last month? And that's called social trading. Anyone seen eToro? E-T-O-R-O, big in Australia as well. Social trading, where we just broker between our customers. And I guess what happens in the future too, yes, we've got products, but based on these products, we have to facilitate customer-to-customer interactions. So last idea, in this new digital world, many companies get better the bigger they are. Google search, YouTube, LinkedIn, they all have a market share of 60 to 90%. They all get better the bigger they are. The classical bank, insurance company, university, or mortgage or insurance broker doesn't. We are playing on that red line. And that means I could become a turkey. I might have a bunch of customers, but an entrepreneur who has got 0 customers has got the same value proposition, quality of service, the same value proposition. Why does no entrepreneur say, why, let's compete with Facebook, Google Search, or YouTube? Because they capitalize on the size of the customer base. They get better the bigger they are. I'm YouTube or Google Search, I'm here. You're an entrepreneur, you're here. There's a massive gap between us. There's no way that you become my butcher. So in the new world, we have to find a way from how do I go from red to black. Customer-to-customer conversations is one way. Anyone seen Patients Like Me? PatientsLikeMe.com, you can go there right now. Massive in the United States. You go there with your symptoms, and then you find other customers like you. I don't just want to rely on a certain individual. We need to become a platform, and I assume that the marketplace of the future will also facilitate customer-to-customer conversations and will facilitate that brokers can advertise their very special, unique services. So we broker in all kinds of ways. This is not just from company via broker to customer. This will create an entire complete new network. And that allows us to play on that blue and not just on that red line. I might leave it there. You might say I'm still confused, but hopefully you're on a higher level. But I want that you take away that I think we move from companies to people and maybe ultimately even to smart things. And that means to the same token, our products have to become smarter. My car in the future will hit the brakes when I don't. I hope that my insurance products and my banking products will do the same. I might leave it there. You can follow our podcast, but with German precision, we might have a few minutes left for some Q&A. Thank you. Yes, and sorry, do we have a... Sure.
If I wanted to be cynical,
Yep.
could I say that technology like this would be the greatest danger to society? That this information can subvert society, your privacy,
Yep.
governments can use it in an evil way, or
Yes.
business, and we give everything away, and subliminally we're being manipulated
Yep.
to think, and I just came back from the US after
Yes.
4 weeks, And I had people on the street thinking they're in the best position they possibly are.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that was propaganda or what it was. And it's just dangerous giving
Yes.
away so much that
Yep.
you can't control.
I agree.
Is that the biggest threat to society?
Very good point. So this is not about naive, positive bias, and the world is wonderful. If you've got too much spare time, watch the movie The Circle with Tom Hanks, which is all about that sort of what could happen to us. Like most things in life, there are two sides of that story. You can say, is it an issue to my privacy, or does it enter new business opportunities, or enter a new lifestyle? If I don't have to do micromanage a lot of financial transactions, and I could delegate this, it would give me time. If I don't have to drive my car, there are a lot of things I could do that I otherwise spend in my car. At the same token, it's a danger that someone hijacks my car, and there's a new security risk. On the other side, this might create 1 million jobs who do nothing else than protecting security of a car. And security and cybersecurity is a massive booming industry that creates wealth for a lot of people out of this. I think what we do is, this will happen with or without us. So the challenges with technology is once it starts running, a lot of people don't put on the ethics and say, I shouldn't do this. We as humans, as a government, as a society, have to create intersubjective rules. There's a great book, The History of Tomorrow, that talks about how we as a society that is hyper-connected can put on the brakes and the etiquette. I don't want to say in a naive way this is all good and positive, but I think done well, it can bring us up in the Maslow pyramid and can kind of create, hopefully, a lot of wealth.
What's your view of cryptocurrencies?
Cryptocurrencies. So the question was around cryptocurrencies or Bitcoin as an example. So some people believe it's money laundering and heaven for drug dealers. I believe cryptocurrency is definitely coming, but I believe that cryptocurrency is more than automated money. I think Bitcoin is just a small step. Cryptocurrencies in the future will have all kinds of attributes. So at the moment, digital money is more like a digitalization of cash, but nothing else. I still move $100 from my account to your account, but otherwise they're not intelligent at all. Cryptocurrency will become really smart when I can attach attributes. As I said, I give $100 to my son, but he only can spend them on the weekend, not on bottle shops. Maybe I can have ownership. Maybe I can go to Woolworths and say, here's my money, but don't spend it on things I'm allergic to. So I connect piece of my private life, and this is the privacy conversation, to spending patterns. So I think the first step was to digitize money, and I think cryptocurrency will open up that floodgate for second attributes. I think we will see more pop-up currencies. I could imagine a QET dollar that only works on campus. I could maybe pay my research assistant in 100 QET dollars that they only can spend on campus and only on that weekend. So I can see how SMEs, event organizers have an appetite for pop-up cyber currency. I think Bitcoin is only scratching the surface of what's possible, but it will come in all kinds of variations. At the moment, personally, I wouldn't invest any money in Bitcoin, but it's just my personal belief. Maybe one more question?
What do you think it means for government?
Cryptocurrencies. So the question was around what does it mean for the government? So a lot of people believe that we see complete new secondary currencies. I know that Brisbane talks about the Brisbane dollar. So regionally constrained dollars. People talk about the Amazon dollar, like a currency that works within Amazon. So I think that the typical boundaries of money might disappear. So classically, we are in one territory, like in Australia, so there's an Australian dollar that matches the geographic physical landscape. I could see how cyber currencies or cryptocurrencies create complete new boundaries. And that not just big governments, but corporations or anyone will come to Suncorp or Brock and say, I've got this huge event, I need a kind of currency that exists for this weekend. Very temporary, very regionally constrained. And then I think it becomes exciting when we really truly innovate money. I think besides digitizing money, we haven't really innovated money. We've innovated our homes and cars, but money, I think, is only at its infancy when it comes to making it more intelligent. And I think those sort of currencies will empower a lot of people, not just the government. Any other questions? Otherwise, we take silence as an expression of unconditional excitement. Thank you so much.